Good evening, everyone. Once again, I am back with my new video, and I would be starting today where I left yesterday. That is, I was dealing with the Victorian novelists, the novelists who actually created such masterpieces in the field of Victorian social problem novels. And in the first part of the lecture, I discussed in detail Charles Dickens. So today I would be starting with Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy wrote certain novels which have developed into cult classics with the passage of time in the arena of English literature and obviously Victorian literature. The first among those novels is obviously The Mayor of Casterbridge. And in this novel, Michael Henchard, the protagonist, who is a gambler, and he sells his wife to a sailor named Richard Newson and auctions his baby daughter Elizabeth Jane. And the story goes like this. Life and Death of a Man of Character. Life and Death of a Man of Character is the subtitle of The Mayor of Casterbridge. And as we all know, subtitles are asked in UGC NET exam on certain occasions, so it is important to note down. Rest, you can read this novel, you would find it very interesting, and it's obviously important for the UGC NET exam. Then comes the second one, the novel Jude the Obscure. Jude the Obscure. Jude is the protagonist in this novel, but what happens is this novel has a subtle touch of feminism. Means feminism in the Victorian novels, feminism is quite pronounced in certain Victorian novels, especially in the novels by the Victorian women novelists, which I would be dealing with very soon. But in Jude the Obscure also, there is a touch of feminism, and Arabella Dawn, who is the lady love of Jude, the central character here, she has been focused to a great extent in this novel. And also Sue Bridehead. Sue Bridehead, she is also another women character in this novel, and both Arabella and Sue are given great importance in this novel as compared to Jude, the male character based on whom the title has been designed. And it is a very interesting novel, and you can read it and you would find it that yes, what I said about feminism, and this novel is one of the glaring examples where feminism has been used to a great extent. Okay. Then the novel comes Tales of the D'Urbervilles, and the subtitle of this novel is A Pure Woman Faithfully Presented. Obviously, Tess is the central character in this novel, and this novel satirizes Victorian morality. Then there are other novels written by Thomas Hardy, Far from the Madding Crowd, and the title has been taken from Thomas Gray's Elegy Written on a Country Churchyard. Elegy Written on a Country Churchyard by Thomas Gray. And you know the famous lines from this poem. The curfew tolls the knell of the parting day. So, the title of this novel, Far from the Madding Crowd, has been taken from this poem, Elegy Written on a Country Churchyard. And Bathsheba Everden and Gabriel Oak are the central characters in the novel, Far from the Madding Crowd. A Player of the Blue Eyes is another novel by Thomas Hardy. Elfriede Swancourt is a protagonist in this novel, and she has been compared to Miranda in The Tempest by William Shakespeare. So, and this Elfriede Swancourt has been denoted as Victorian Miranda by the novelist. The Return of the Native, one of the most important novels by Thomas Hardy. And here the characters are Clement and Eustacia Vai, and this is the mention of the Edgone Heath. The wilderness of the Edgone Heath has been brought in detail in this novel, Return of the Native, another important novel by Thomas Hardy. Now there are certain women novelists who rose to prominence with their sharp writing skills and their ability to satirize the Victorian society and Victorian morality with ease, much like the male novelists have done. So, in terms of plot, the setting of the plot, the characters, then the setting of the novels, and in terms of a well constructed plot, we can say the women novelists were no less than the men novelists actually. And the Bronte sisters and George Eliot are mentioned in great detail whenever we talk about the Victorian women novelists. So, let us have a look. First comes George Eliot, whose real name is Mary Ann Evans. To escape from the restrictions imposed by the society, she took the pseudonym George Eliot. Because during those days, it was the society, all these things were, what should I say, the problems of the society, that you were a woman and you were writing something literary. This was considered a taboo in those days. Therefore, she had to take the pseudonym George Eliot. So, her novels are The Mill on the Floss, then the natural phenomena of flood has been given great importance in the context of this novel. And Maggie Tulliver is the protagonist in this novel, who is modelled after George Eliot herself. Then there is Adam Bede, another novel by George Eliot. The novel revolves around the love triangle between the vain and pleasure-loving child murderer, Hetty Sorrel, a psychopath. So it is the love triangle between Hetty Sorrel, Arthur Donithorne, who is the young squire who seduces her, Hetty Sorrel, who is seduced by Arthur Donithorne, and obviously the titular character Adam Bede. So this is a love triangle. Silas Marner is another novel by George Eliot, Silas Marner. And another is Middlemarch. The subtitle of this novel is A Study of Provincial Life. And Middlemarch is a very important novel. The characters here are Dorothea Brooke, who is an intelligent, wealthy woman who does not display her wealth and embarks upon projects such as redesigning cottages for her uncle's tenants. Doing something worthwhile for the society. Being a woman. So you can see, as I told, that feminism has been given great importance in the novels, in certain novels of the Victorian period. Even yesterday dealt with Charles Dickens's novel Great Expectations. There also you can find how is the empowerment of women is shown in that novel also, through the characters of Miss Havisham and Estella. So, and obviously George Eliot and the Bronte sisters are the women novelists, so there has to be the element of feminism in these novels. in their novels, right? You can read this novel and you would find it very interesting. And the other characters in Middlemarch are Edward Casaubon, who is a clergyman married to Dorothea. And the book by Edward Casaubon in this novel, The Key to All Mythologies, inspired J.G. Fraser's The Golden Bough. So this is something important from the perspective of the NET exam. Sir James Chatham is another neighboring landowner who is in love with Dorothea in this novel, and Will Ladislaw is a cousin of Edward Casaubon, another character in Middlemarch. So that goes all for George Eliot. And I need another session for the Bronte sisters. So I hope you have enjoyed my current video, and see you soon.